Dear friends, I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom and a happy Hanukkah. This is a very special time of the year as we celebrate such a beautiful holiday. The only holiday that we are told has to be celebrated outward. Most holidays are celebrated in the home, in the synagogue. It's not really about bringing it to the outside. But Hanukkah, the main part of the holiday is that the menorah should be lit, that everyone could see it outside as well, to light up the darkness. And this is what's so beautiful about the holiday of Hanukkah, is that we understand how a small flame can dispel a lot of darkness. Not only physical darkness, but a small flame of light, of positive action, of a mitzvah, can dispel a lot of spiritual darkness to fill our world with a tremendous amount of light, of godliness, of clarity, of spirituality, and rise higher and higher as the menorah goes from 1 candle to 2 up to 8. This week we read the Torah portion on Miketz. In Miketz, Joseph has become the viceroy of Egypt through interpreting Pharaoh's dream. The world is thrown into hunger, but Joseph is the only one who prepared himself and the country of Egypt for this hunger. And everywhere else, they run out of food. And the Jewish people, Jacob's family in Israel, also needs food. And they come down to Egypt. And when they come down to Egypt, Joseph recognizes his 10 brothers, but they do not recognize him, never imagining that their brother would become the viceroy, even though maybe the features of his face look very familiar. And Joseph was testing them to see if they ever regretted the terrible thing they did to him. Not that Joseph was angry at them. Actually, he realized that this was God's plan to make him viceroy of Egypt. It never would have happened otherwise. But he wanted to see if his brothers, who were good people, who their intentions were wrong in selling him, if they ever regretted. And in the process of this happening, Joseph holds one brother back, Shimon, and says, I don't trust you guys when you say you're 12 brothers, one is not here, and one is still in Israel, and you're not here to spy. You guys are up to something. And he holds Shimon as collateral until they bring down Benjamin, because then he'll know that they're true, and that his other son, Benjamin, if they care about him as much as they should have cared about Joseph, then he'll know that they really regretted and repented. So when they go back to Israel and they tell Jacob about the plan, Jacob is very upset. He says, I lost Joseph, my son Shimon is in prison, who knows if he'll get out, now I'm going to lose Benjamin. So Reuven right away says, Dad, don't worry. If I don't bring him back, 2 of my sons shall die. Jacob doesn't accept. Says, no, I'm never sending Benjamin down. When they are ready to go down, Judah pipes up and says, Dad, don't worry. I guarantee him. I will bring him back. And if not, I will never know any rest, not in this world, not in the world to come. And Jacob accepts it and sends Benjamin down. So here are 2 of the brothers who come up with the solution to try to get Jacob to want to send Benjamin, to part from Benjamin, knowing there is danger when you go on the road into unfamiliar territory. There's always danger. Why doesn't he accept Reuven, but yet Judah's suggestion is immediately accepted? And here we see what true leadership is. Here we see the Jewish response, which Judah helped carve out the way the Jewish people respond to issues that we face. Reuven was talking ideologically. Says, Dad, we're all in this pain. If you're going to lose a child, I'll also be in pain. I'll lose 2 children. We're all going to be empathetic to each other. What you lose, I will lose. Yaakov says, but what gain is there from that? What are you adding when you're going to lose 2 children? I will lose 4. My grandchildren are like my children. Empathy is not always the right answer. Judah says, let's wait till we have to go down to Egypt. Let's not have this conversation at the theoretical moment. When it's time and we have no food left, then we'll have the conversation. Because Judah was a man of action. He said things when they made a difference. He said, Dad, now we got to go get food. So Dad says, but I don't want to send him. He says, I guarantee him. I put my life on the line. I will do anything to make sure he gets back up to you. Jacob looks at Judah and says, yes, you are a leader. You are a man of action. I trust you because you're not telling me theories. You're talking about practical actions. And though there are dangers in practical actions, but the biggest danger is when you don't do it. If they wouldn't go to Egypt, there wouldn't be any food. And that is the Jewish people's response. The Jewish people won over the Greeks. It was a great moment of celebration. What were they busy with? The moment they won, the same day that they won, they didn't make parties. They got down to action. How do we light the menorah again and in the proper way? They looked to make a difference. They looked not to talk about the greatness of the moment, but to turn the moment into another action, to bring it down to reality, to give it roots, to grow more great moments. And they lit the menorah after they searched high and low. And God worked with them in a partnership, allowed it to light for 8 days miraculously till they got new oil. Because God loves actions. Whenever we celebrate a holiday, whenever we talk about Jewish ideas, it has to be married to an action. It has to come down to something real and tangible, because then it takes root and it grows on us and in us. But if not, it's a nice idea that just sits on the bookshelf, that we may visit from time to time and leaf through its pages, but it doesn't change us, the world, or anything else. So as we celebrate Hanukkah, we're finishing the secular year as well. Let's turn it into action. Let the candles that we're all lighting, and everyone's lighting candles, let's take that light and say, how am I going to bring that light into my life? What can be the light in my life? Will I put on tefillin another day? Maybe spend a few minutes of studying Torah? Make sure I light the Shabbat candles in time every week. Do something. Go out of my way to help a fellow Jew every single day in some way. Turn it into action. So I want to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, a happy Hanukkah, a Chodesh Tov, a good Rosh Chodesh, all the blessings. We love you, and only good things. Shabbat candlelighting time, Montreal, 3:56 p.m.